Okay, so now you should have already went to the Facebook group I've invited you to. When you go to the group, you'll notice that there are what we call pinned posts. Now, those pinned posts are going to be the directions. They're going to be the instructions for what you're needing to do. That's your activity. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take work. It's going to take talking to people, signing a piece of paper. There's no manual labor involved here. This is as serious as it gets, you know. And that's why I like real estate. You know, it just depends on your perspective. And my perspective of it is a good perspective because you'll see it's so easy. That's why I'm so excited about helping you guys get to your first deals, or if you have experience and you're, you know, just looking to start back over again and just need that push or just need some direction. That's what I'm here for, to get you rolling. Okay, so let's see here. Let's talk about one more thing here. As you're getting started, now a lot of y'all have already talked to y'all from the beginning. People say, oh, well, do I need to set up a LLC? Not yet. You know, my thing is get your first deal done. See how you feel about things. And then from there, you see the cash coming in, you see how things went, then put money into it. You know, because you may not like it. So let's get the first deal done first, and then we'll go further on with setting it up as a business. So, but for now, what I say is you're in the Facebook group, look at those pin posts, and then we're going to go ahead and get that phone situation together. So you should already have a cell phone or smartphone. You can do what's called Sideline, or you can do Google Talk, Google Voice. That's what it's called. Google Voice. I'm sorry. Get a local phone number, and this is going to ring to your cell phone. You want to be able to separate your personal phone calls from your real estate phone calls. This is going to be very important, especially if you're doing it as a solopreneur. You the business, the secretary, and everything else. And I mean, that's okay. Don't get me. It's me and my daughter. I have some other team members, but you know, it just depends. A lot of times I still do a lot of stuff by myself. A lot of times she handles everything by herself. It just depends. Bottom line is you need to know from the beginning to the end. And that's what I'm going to provide for you. So let's make sure we have that telephone situation together, because you're going to need that for your marketing. And that should have already been done. And once you have that done, now let's kind of just take a moment and say, okay, what is it that we're getting ready to do? Our objective number one is to find deals. Where are you going to find deals at? We're going to first, let's talk about what it is that we even want. You know, what do we even want? So most times, excuse me, I'm going to be talking and drinking. So if you ask me that question, say, well, Tonya, what are you looking for? What I mean when I'm looking for is what type of property, what type of situation. Okay, so I can pretty much tell you right now, especially with the situation in Baton Rouge, with houses are flooding, this is my market. So I'm looking for properties that are, 3-bedroom, 1.5 at least to 2 bathrooms, brick, and around the price range. Our properties right now we're getting are anywhere from $15,000 to $45,000, $55,000. That's the price range where we're at. That's pretty consistent for what we call our regular investor activity. What do you mean regular investor activity? I see people who are doing deals way. Yeah, that's fine. I'm talking about for neighborhoods where it's a rental neighborhood. Here in Baton Rouge, it's not the hood. Yeah, it's kind of hood, but it's working people too. But it's a rental neighborhood. We don't want the work on. You don't really want you don't want that. But it's, don't discriminate, because I got a partner who's getting those deals that don't nobody want. And he's getting them for $1 and he's flipping them. Or that's an opportunity if you want to take on a project yourself, or maybe get it, tear the lot down or sell it. It just depends. It's just so many different things you can do. But the main thing is you have to know what it is that you're looking for. What's your area that you want to work in? You want to have a specific product. You want to have a specific, this is what I look for. You want to have your objective, so that when it just makes it easier, because other people will know what you're looking for and they will send deals to you. You want to kind of keep it kind of narrowed in the beginning before you start just going and doing deals all over the world. Let's master in your own backyard first. That would be my number one advice. Work in your own backyard. Let's get a deal done, and we can always expand from there. Okay? Knowing what you're looking for is the first thing. Okay? The second thing is, when you get that property, when you're looking for properties, are you looking for properties for cash or cash flow? That's a good question. What I mean is that, remember, the whole purpose is not to always be a wholesaler. You don't want to every month have to grind to find a deal. The purpose is to get your money up. Wholesaling is an excellent way of building up your capital. I'm not a firm believer in going to get loans and going to the bank for nothing. 2008, the crash, got a lot of people messed up. My advice, as I was taught, and I'm a firm believer in, and this is what Tonya's doing, so I wouldn't tell you nothing that I wouldn't do myself. Wholesale, get your money up, buy your stuff, and I'm paying cash. I don't want to owe nobody. I want it free and clear. This is where you want to be, because over the next 3 years, you're going to be happy you did that. But main thing for me, right now, if you're going to wholesale it, is to get the cash. And that's okay. Get your cash up. Or cash flow. That's when you're finding these deals, you're getting these deals, and instead of flipping them to another investor, well, you're the investor. And you're getting it to cash flow every month to collect the rent from tenants. Okay? Those are the two things you need to know. After you know what it is that you're looking for, you need to know what it is that you're planning on doing with it. Okay? That's two. Okay. Next thing is, let's see. Well, even when it comes to like the properties that you want, you need to, are you doing single families, multi-families? Are you doing units? That also kind of goes into exactly what you're looking for. Okay. Let's see here. My next thing is, okay, I went over the price range. That's kind of where we're at, but you kind of need to know for your own self. So here's how you get to find that out. Now, in the pinned post, it told you about the activity of networking with other wholesalers, networking with other realtors, networking with other investors. This is very important. It's very important for a lot of reasons. Number one, network with them, because they're going to have deals. You're going to have people who are going to have deals. You're going to have people who are going to have buyers. All while you're trying to build yours up, you need to have some friends that you can go to so that y'all can make money together. So that is the first step while we're in the process of building your list. Okay? Okay, so networking with others. And how do you network? How do you do that? Okay, let's see. For my people in Baton Rouge, once a month, hit the ring. They have a meeting with all the investors, and you can pitch deals. It's just a very good event that you can attend. For my people in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, every I want to say Tuesday or Thursday. I may be wrong on the day, but it may be every Thursday at Ebenezer's near Scrooge. It's in Jackson. Every week they meet. They have a dinner. They always have a speaker. It's really a good event. I would even recommend other people, even though you're not in the Mississippi market, just to kind of get a chance, because I learned so much when I used to attend those meetings in Mississippi, and also network with a lot of nice people there too. So that's just a suggestion. But no, that's an instruction. You need to network with other people, because that's going to make it a little easier for you, as you'll be able to see. And let me give you an example. Okay. So I get notifications all the time on my phone. I have other wholesalers or realtors who are wholesalers also. And what that means is you can be a real estate agent who is also an investor, meaning you finding deals just like we doing and flipping them. Most people find they make more money as an investor flipping it than they do as a real estate agent, because they only get like 3% and 6% if they had a buyer and a seller. But of what? Just of that percent. But it's like I can just get a flat $5 or flat $10,000 and be done with it. But what I'm saying is that by networking and dealing with these people call and say, hey, well, Tonya, I got this property. I don't have a buyer for it. Okay. So number one, we have a list, but also if my investors aren't interested, I may have someone else who may have buyers that's interested, and we can do what's called a joint venture from there, which I'll get into that later on. It's just very important to network with people, other investors. So also, just in finding the deal, the best thing also is in dealing directly with the seller. How do we find the sellers? Well, if you go to the pin post in the Facebook group, it tells you about going and calling them for sale by owners, or they call them FSBOs from Craigslist. That's what I use. Or go to Zillow. Now, Zillow has for rents. You have other sites who actually let people, they are saying that they want to rent the property, and they'll have their numbers there. Now, notice sometimes you'll see, and you can kind of tell if it's a realtor or if they have a property management company handling it. I like to deal directly with the seller. Dealing with the seller, you can negotiate. They're the decision maker. I don't have to go through a bunch of changes. I just rather do that. But the main thing, like everything that I just said, don't even matter if you don't have this one thing right here. A motivated seller. What do you mean a motivated seller? But the guy says that when I called him, he wants to sell his house, but we really not meeting eye to eye on the price, and he more so wants retail, and we're wholesalers, so we're always going to be looking for a discounted price. Okay, so let me stop it right there. Here's the thing. We don't deal with sellers that are not motivated. How do I know if they're motivated or not? You'll know. When you, like right now, you may not know because you're new, but when you get that first motivated seller, you will know. Let me give you an example of a deal that I did in Mississippi. Let me tell you how it went right quick. Man saw one of my signs, and he gave me a call. Said he wanted to sell his properties. Didn't want to have nothing else to do with him. He was tired. He was a tired landlord. That's okay. I immediately went, made the appointment. Excuse me, y'all. I'm trying to take care of some things while I'm talking. But I went, and I immediately went, looked at the properties and went and talked with him and everything to make an offer. Got to the house. Now, at that time, I had a property guy who would go, look at the properties. I'm not saying that you need to have this. I'm just saying I was that green. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know nothing. So you can get your little handyman or, somebody who can kind of give you the estimates and stuff like that, that don't charge you, that would look at the house and kind of, I just didn't know. So he kind of helped me to learn a lot of different things and as to what to look out for, foundation problems, if the roof is bad, and, a lot of things. So anyway, went to the house to talk to the gentleman about the offer for the 3 houses. I ended up getting 3 houses from him. And the guy that was with me, we discussed it. And see, I wasn't too sure at the time about negotiating the deal. I was scared and I didn't know. So he said, well, look, based on the properties, I knew what the number. But see, in Mississippi, it was a little harder to get the numbers because they don't have the comps online like we do here in Louisiana. I'll show you what I mean on that later. So he was sitting there and he ran by the time he got through running it through and made the offer, he offered him $10,000. One house, $3,000. One house we did for $6,000, and then $1,000 for the other house. And that man said, okay. I was sitting there like, what? I couldn't even react because I was between the two of them, but I couldn't believe it. But that's a person who needs to sell as opposed to a person who wants to sell. It's like the difference is night and day. And you will notice this as you start talking to more people, and that's going to be the key. You have to start talking to more people on the phone. You have to start making offers. I will help you get to this point, I promise you. So I've also put a script in the Facebook group for the for the for sale by owners, and I'm doing the for rents. So that's something I need you to look for in Facebook groups. You should be able to download that and get to work. But remember, motivated sellers make the deals. If they're not motivated, on to the next one. You're wasting your time and their time. If there's a little bit of, maybe wiggle, maybe, just follow up with them. They ain't motivated yet. Sometimes you have to allow time and circumstances to let motivation increase. But for the most part, if they're not motivated, I'm off the phone. That's a waste of time. So let's start getting some activity done. So if you've not gotten your phone system together, get your either Google Voice or Sideline. These are free apps that you can use right on your cell phone. And then from there, let's kind of just narrow it down as to what exactly we're looking for. We said, well, maybe I don't know what I'm looking for. You need to start networking with other wholesalers in the area, other investors in the area to see what's moving, what's popping. Jackson is, houses is cheap. You're going to get houses for cheap there. But it just depends on how much work your investors want to put into it. So you kind of need to have that information, meaning networking with people to see, hey, just let them know, hey, my name, I do buy houses and I get a lot of deals. I would be interested in, sending some deals your way. I just need to know your criteria. What is it that you look for? Are you a cash buyer? And because that's what you want. We don't do traditional. Our buyers are cash buyers. I don't know if I mentioned that. But that's what makes us different, is that our transactions are cash transactions. And people say, well, who's walking around with cash like that? The money is the easy part. You'd be surprised how much money walking around here. And who's doing what? The people that you think that's not doing anything, that look like plain Jane, is walking around here with buku's money and buying up buku's property. So now is the time more than ever, especially if you're here in Baton Rouge. It's time to get rolling here. Um, so let's make sure we have our phone together. Let's make sure that we know what it is that we're looking for. And if not, let's start networking with people. Let's start talking to people. Let them know what it is that you do. Even though you ain't never did a deal, that's okay. You ain't even got to get into that. Just say, hey, I'm a wholesaler and I get deals and I would just like to be able to send something your way. I just need to know your criteria. What are you looking for? What do you consider a deal? What kind of price range? Just ask. Simple as that. And keep this information. You can do a spreadsheet to keep this information. You could do there's a lot of different things. You just keep notes. The main thing, keep it somewhere where you can have access to it so that as you get deals in, you're collecting their email addresses, you're collecting their basic information so that you can shoot the deals to them. We'll get into that later also. So let's go ahead and get started, get some activity going, and I will see you